After a 13-27 season, the Chicago Sky have decided to fire Therese Witherspoon. In the words of Vince McMahon, "You're fired!"
Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed face of women's basketball, goes nuts after total chaos hits the Chicago Sky. This so-called girl of hope was supposed to bring a season of promise, but instead, it turned into a train wreck so wild even the most loyal fans couldn't look away. A 13-27 record and broken team chemistry. For a city that loves its sports, this wasn't just a loss. It was a gut punch.
Teams say, I wish we drafted you.
Really?
Yes. Like teams that have drafted, that were above me, that the players that got drafted above, and it was nothing against their rookies that got drafted, but they were like, I wish we were teammates. I wish we drafted you.
Therese Witherspoon, WNBA legend, was supposed to be the one to rebuild this broken franchise, the one who would finally give Chicago a reason to believe again. Yet instead of inspiring a turnaround, her leadership lit all the wrong fires, fueling locker room drama and questionable coaching decisions. And then there was Reese. Her on-court antics and off-court bravado left fans torn between rooting for her and shaking their heads in frustration.
Angel Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
Reese boldly claimed in an interview that in 20 years, people would look back at her as one of the reasons women's basketball gained more attention. But this isn't just a story of stats and scores. It's about a fan base left in the wreckage of shattered dreams, wondering where it all went so wrong.
Now, Marina Mabrey, she's already flown the coop on this team, and it was quote-unquote because of culture. Well, what happened to the culture? Who torched the culture? Who's selfish on the team that would cause the culture to melt?
Reese's off-court antics didn't help matters. On her podcast, she claimed that several teams who passed on her in the WNBA draft had called to express regret, a statement met with widespread skepticism. During a game, her controversial flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark became another lightning rod for criticism. Reese defended the foul as a play on the ball and even insinuated that Clark received special treatment from referees, but video evidence told a different story. Fans on social media were quick to call out her excuses, labeling them embarrassing deflections and pointing to her behavior as a major reason for the team's lack of chemistry. Reese goes nuts.
And Tyler Marsh did the press conference. He talked about Angel Reese. He talked about Cardoso, who I think is going to be a star in the WNBA. But he did not really mention Kennedy Carter at all, and that raised a lot of eyebrows.
Chicago Sky are unraveling faster than their 13-27 record suggests. A team that once promised greatness is now drowning in dysfunction. At the center of the chaos is Angel Reese, whose presence has reportedly turned the locker room into a battlefield. Leadership has vanished, the team culture reduced to ashes, and their best shooter, Kalia Copper, is already scouting new teams. She averaged 17.5 points per game last season, but now seems more interested in Twitter polls than playbooks.
Reese is now quoted as saying, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. It's because of me too, and I want you to realize that.
One veteran player even commented anonymously that it was obvious who Witherspoon was trying to please, and it wasn't the team. Young stars like Camila Cardoso struggled to find consistent roles, and their potential was largely overlooked, signaling that Reese's individual stats seemed more important than the team's overall success. The dysfunction hit new levels when the Sky traded Marina Mabrey midseason. Mabrey, known for her shooting and defensive skills, was sent to the Connecticut Sun under mysterious circumstances. Although she avoided directly criticizing the Sky, her praise for the Sun's professional environment spoke volumes. She emphasized how players in Connecticut could focus solely on basketball, an apparent dig at the chaos she left behind in Chicago.
The Chicago Sky franchise has been an absolute dumpster fire since winning the WNBA championship in 2021. Let's go through some of the names that have left. James Wade, who was the coach and GM, left in the middle of the season last year to go to the NBA.
Exit interviews with players painted a grim picture of the season. Veterans doubted Witherspoon's leadership, while younger players expressed frustration with the lack of clarity and direction. Basic team principles, such as maintaining on-court discipline, were often absent. By the time the season ended, The fractures within the locker room were impossible to ignore. Now, with Weatherspoon out as head coach, the Sky are left to pick up the pieces of a disastrous season. Whether Angel Reese will remain part of their future plans is uncertain. For now, her tenure in Chicago serves as a cautionary tale about what happens when individual ambition overshadows team unity. Instead of a fresh start, the Sky got total chaos, with Reese standing front and center in the wreckage.
Parker, Emma Messman, Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley, Clea Copper was traded, Azura Stevens. And then this year, after drafting Cardozo and Reese, they were competing for a playoff spot and traded Marina Mabrey, their veteran, before the Olympic break.
Carter, the Sky's leading scorer and a restricted free agent come January, didn't mince words on social media. She posted, "You'll be coaches and GMs anyways, let's see what you think," inviting fans to decide where she should play next. Subtle. The backlash was immediate. Some fans sided with her, blaming Chicago's toxic leadership, while others mocked her for airing dirty laundry like it was an episode of Real Housewives, WNBA edition. But Carter isn't the only one out. Marina Mabrey averaged 15.4 points per game last season but bolted mid-season, citing culture issues. Candace Parker, the team's former superstar, didn't even stick around after their 2021 championship win, opting for greener pastures in Las Vegas. And what about Teresa Weatherspoon? She didn't even last one season as head coach, reportedly losing the locker room by catering to a select few players. Now, it's Tyler Marsh's turn to clean up the mess. In his recent press conference, Marsh name-dropped Angel Reese, hyping her potential, and praised Cardoso, a budding star often compared to Aaliyah Boston. But when it came to Carter, crickets. His vague statement, calling her a huge catalyst for last year's success while refusing to commit to her future, wasn't exactly reassuring.
However, new Sky coach Tyler Marsh was asked about whether he sees Kennedy Carter in the big part of what he's doing in the future during an appearance on the Athletic Women's Basketball Show. Quote, "In regards to Kennedy, she's a great player. She was a huge catalyst to what last year's team was able to do and accomplish. And obviously, she's slated to be a free agent."
Reese, meanwhile, isn't helping matters. While her stats, averaging 16.8 points and 10.6 rebounds per game, show she's a force on the court, her alleged role in locker room tension is hard to ignore. Whispers of favoritism have only deepened the fractures, leaving teammates questioning whether the Sky are prioritizing talent over team cohesion. It's clear the Chicago Sky are stuck in freefall. Marsh's refusal to address the Carter situation directly only fuels speculation that the team is ready to cut ties with its most productive player. But if Carter is indeed part of the problem, as her history with previous teams suggests, it's hard to tell whether the Sky are rebuilding around talent or just bracing for another implosion. One thing's certain, the chaos isn't over, it's just beginning.
The focus thus far has been on players who we know are under contract this coming year, and that's where the communication has been thus far.
The real kicker? All this drama comes just a year after the Sky made a playoff push. Fast forward, and they are now a case study in how not to run a franchise. Reese may not be solely responsible for the meltdown, but her rise in a fractured system isn't winning her any popularity contests. So where does this mess end? Does Marsh clean house and rebuild from scratch? Does Carter walk, making the Sky even more irrelevant? Or does this saga continue to entertain fans? For all the wrong reasons, one thing's for sure, Chicago Sky culture has officially entered meme territory.
And I can't help but wonder, is that what happened here? Is Angel Reese and the way she wants to play, and I don't know if you've ever noticed her social media posts, but she's very me, always. Me.
Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever represent two contrasting tales in the WNBA, one of dysfunction and decline, the other of unity and resurgence. The Sky, once a championship-winning team, have struggled to maintain their identity due to poor leadership and internal discord. Teresa Weatherspoon's chaotic tenure as head coach left the team fractured, and the addition of Angel Reese, though talented, brought polarizing behavior that further deepened the cracks. For the Sky, the question remains, can they rebuild their team culture and regain their championship grit, or will they continue to spiral?